I love carrots, and I especially love them when they're pickled. I'm going to show you how to make the most addictive Mexican-style taco shop pickled carrots. Okay, let's make these pickled carrots. So I'm working with 3 large carrots. I would say a little over a pound is what I'm working with. I have 1 jalapeno, half of a small yellow onion. I'm working with a bay leaf, Mexican oregano, marjoram, just a little bit, black peppercorns. Here I have some white distilled vinegar and water, a clove of garlic, and the ratios of the water and the vinegar to the salt, it really is to taste. So when I make it, I'll taste it and I'll let you know in the description below. I'm gonna add like a tablespoon of cooking oil to my pot that's preheating. And here are my fresh ingredients. I pierced the jalapeno, sliced the carrot, sliced the onion, and I like to leave the garlic clove whole. You can chop all these aromatics. This is how I like to do it. Okay, I'm adding everything into the pot. And I'm just gonna let this saute for a little bit. I want things to kind of sizzle. You don't want things burning, but it just makes everything in the pot sort of wake up and become very aromatic. So when you're making this, you can add salt to taste. I'm gonna start with 1 teaspoon. You definitely can work your way up depending on the ratio of the water and the vinegar. But here are 2 ingredients that make these the best Mexican style pickled carrots. And what I like to add is chicken bouillon powder and MSG. A lot of you don't like either of these. You don't have to use it. Just season to taste with salt or add salt to taste. But this just gives you that umami flavor that makes these pickled carrots so addictive, and it keeps you coming back for more. I love it. So again, 2 ingredients that are optional, but this is my secret to making these the best. Okay, here I have 3 cups of water. I'm just gonna add some. That's about 2 cups. I think that's what I'm gonna go with. So 2 cups of water going in, and I'm gonna add like a ½ cup of distilled vinegar. Yeah, I think a ½ cup might work. Now, here I have Mexican oregano and 1 bay leaf going in. That's like a ½ teaspoon of Mexican oregano. Just a ¼ teaspoon of marjoram. I'll say that's optional. With the oregano, it works. And then here I have black peppercorn going in. And here I'm working with 1 teaspoon chicken bouillon powder, 1 teaspoon of salt, and a ¼ teaspoon of MSG. So salt, seasoning, things like that, it's to your preference. But this is what I like. And I think it just makes these the best. There we go. Now the key here, you give everything a mix, and we're going to let this gently simmer. I don't really boil this. I like to let this gently simmer for about somewhere like 5 to 7 minutes. Shut off the heat and then just let it steep in the pot for an extra maybe 5 to 10, and then I'll put them in like a container to store. You'll let them cool on the counter and then store in the fridge, but let's bring that up to a gentle simmer. Okay, so this has been gently simmering for a couple of minutes. And at this point, give it a taste. Adjust the salt and seasoning to your preference. You may want to add more vinegar. You may want to add more water. Like, the ratios are to your palate and taste. So this works for me. And check the description below. I'll give you a great starting point with the measurements and ingredients for this, but it smells just like the Mexican taco shops. I can't express enough how this is literally my favorite. And you definitely can dice up the jalapeno. I like it whole. It adds enough flavor, a kick to it, and enough like spice to the carrots that I like. But you know, it's up to you. I'm gonna shut off the heat, and now I'm gonna just let this set for a couple of minutes, maybe like 5 minutes. And it also depends the texture, depends on the texture that you want to achieve with these carrots. If you want the crunch, you know, don't let it steep for as long. If you want it a little bit more cooked through, then let it simmer and set. But I'm just gonna let this hang out with the heat off for about 5 minutes before I store. Okay, so I like to store them in these glass Pyrex like containers. A lot of people like to put it in a jar, but I find when we are eating these with flautas, tacos, or just in general, it's easier to just use chopsticks out of like a bowl, a glass bowl. So these are where I want them to be. And like I always say, seasoning, salt. If you want these a bit more tender, or if you want them crunchy, you know, the time that you steep and boil is up to you. But I'm gonna try, I may be able to fit all of these in one. We'll see what we can do here. Okay, so I'm not going to discard the rest of that pickling liquid. I like to save it and add it to my tuna salad. When I make tuna salad or chicken salad, especially Mexican chicken salad, I will use that pickling liquid. It tastes great in a dressing. Okay, there we go. So I am testing the limits of this bowl. We are going to eat some of these, so by the time that this is cooled and stored, it'll fit. But here we are. So you'll want to let this set on the counter to cool before covering and putting in the refrigerator. And here we have my delicious Mexican style addictive pickled carrots. And if you want these spicier, add serrano pepper in place of the jalapeno. Anytime I go to a Mexican restaurant or like a Mexican taco shop, I love to order the flautas and eat tons of those pickled carrots from there. They are so good. And jalapenos can also be made in this brine. The same way that I pickle the carrots, you can pickle jalapenos. For this recipe, you probably could use like 10 jalapenos. It's so good. And for those of you that want to learn or watch how I make chicken flautas, which you can fill it with beef, chicken, or potato, I have a video that I recently posted, and you can check that out to get inspiration on what to eat these pickled carrots with. I will link that in the description below. So I hope you give these recipes a try. I hope you like them, and thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video.